Boom Chanka! Hey everyone, it's the Flying Pig here on Flying Pig United. How's it going? Little match reaction live sort of season review, end of Premier League for the year today. So I just thought I'd have a little chat, give you my thoughts on how the season has actually been for Manchester United this year, and of course some of the other teams. It's been a big season this year in the Premier League. Unfortunately, Manchester City have reached that 100-point mark, and they finish as champions, as we all knew anyway. But 100 points for Manchester City. Just wanted to kick it off with that, because that is freaking unbelievable, man. Fair play to Pep Guardiola and those twats, because they really have dominated this season. You don't get to 100 points without dominating. It's quite unbelievable. And I think the gulf in class at the moment between City and the rest of the teams vying for the championship is pretty clear to see. So I think Mourinho and the board are going to have their work cut out during the summer to bring in some top-class players to try and close that gap. But it's, of course, not all down necessarily to the players. The style of play comes into it. I'm just going to kick off with this video right now and say that I haven't actually watched the Watford game today because I've been working. Fuck my life. So I missed it. Of course, I've seen the goal. Really happy for Rashford. Juan Mata getting the assist. Absolutely fantastic. Of course, I want to see Jose give more opportunities to players like Marcus Rashford. Lots of people have been saying he's like Bambi on ice and he's absolutely shite, which, you know, he has his moments, but he's a young lad learning. I think we should put faith in him anyway and see what he can achieve at Manchester United, because we need players like that have that sort of local attitude, that can actually fight for the shirt, fight for Manchester United, and know what it actually means to be a Manchester United player. So there we are. We've beaten Watford today. It meant absolutely naff all, because second was already wrapped up for us. Let's just look at the facts though, right? Okay, City have walked away with it. They've dominated the league, and they've done it in a fashion which is, you know, very stylistic. They've got a real nice style of football about them. That classic Pep Guardiola, tiki-taka, passy, pass. But with an intent and a purpose. He's managed to recreate that with City, as he did at Bayern Munich and as he did at Barcelona. So fair play to the bold twat. You know, he obviously knows what he's doing, and he's absolutely come into the Premier League and he's walked it this season. He has. Manchester United style, on the other hand, if we're being brutally honest now, it's kind of like if you were to put if you were to sellotape like a thumbtack onto the end of your finger or thumb, seeing as it's called a thumbtack. I get it. And then just ram it into your eyeball. Ram it right into your fucking eyeball. That's kind of what it's been like watching Manchester United this season. Not all the time. Not all the time. You know, we have been decent at times, and there's some nice results in there. And at the end of the day, it is a results industry. You know, we beat Liverpool. Liverpool have had an incredible season and look like one of the best teams in Europe right now. But we beat them in the last fixture there against them. So, you know, we've had some good moments. We beat City, of course, at the Etihad Stadium, that unbelievable comeback. Pogba playing unbelievable, 3-2, you know, fantastic. We've had some good games this season, we have. But by and large, it has been pretty damn drab. And as a Manchester United fan, we want to be entertained. I suppose primarily we want to win the league. Primarily we want to, win trophies and get the results. But secondary, and a very close second, we want to be entertained. We want the style to be of a Manchester United, to be the Manchester United way, which is easier said than done. But I mean, if you look at Liverpool, for instance, let's have a look at Liverpool and Jurgen Klopp's side. Now, they're finishing below us in the Premier League this year. They've got to the Champions League final. That's incredible. But domestically, they have finished below Manchester United this year. So are they a better team than Manchester United right now? I don't know if you can argue that they are. Yes, they did get through to the Champions League final, and they could go on and win that. And they're probably the most attacking and entertaining side to watch in the Premier League. But Jose Mourinho is a master tactician, and he knows how to win games. And sometimes you have to win these games ugly. You can't always play beautiful football when you're coming up against maybe better teams, maybe better technically gifted teams, and just attack and leave yourself wide open like a Liverpool side do. You can't do that all the time. Whereas Jose sort of takes the other end of the spectrum, which is let's park that red bus and defend. Not all the time, of course, but that's generally what happens. Now, that tactic, Jose Mourinho's way, it is going to win us trophies. It is going to win us games. It is going to get us results, but it's not necessarily going to entertain the fans. Whereas the opposite side, Liverpool, I expect them to lose in the Champions League finals of Real Madrid. They might go on and surprise me. Look at Klopp's record. He's done brilliant getting to Champions League finals in the past with Dortmund and stuff, but he's always bottled it at the end there, always lost out. And I think a lot of the reason for that is that his teams don't really know how to defend. They don't really know how to make it very tight for the opposition because they only have one style. It's basically like, they ramp it up to 11 every single time and they just go for it, which is fantastic to watch. It makes for a brilliant game of football, whoever they're playing. It makes for an entertaining team. If you're a Liverpool fan, you must absolutely be masturbating over Kloppy right now. You must be loving it because it's not just entertaining football. It's not just getting through to the Champions League final. It is attack, 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 and it's exactly what you want from a football fan. If you're paying your money to go to the stadium, if you're paying your money online or whatever to watch the game, you want to be entertained and you don't want it to be a boring 0-0 drab bullshit game like a lot of us Manchester United fans have to watch week in, week out. You don't want it to be that. But I think just the fact that Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool only have that sort of tactic, which is just go for it, means that they're going to win less trophies, they're going to win less games because they do leave themselves open at the back. And a team like Real Madrid, who can also attack but also defend, could perhaps have their way with them. So, it's been a funny old season, hasn't it? Fair play to these teams, though. Man City running away with it, 100 points, incredible goal difference they've got. They really have they'll go down as one of the best Premier League teams of all time. Up there with Fergie's 98-99 team, Fergie's 2008 team, the Invincibles, of course. They'll go up there with all of them because they've been that good. They've been that dominant. But unfortunately for Manchester United, perhaps unfortunately for Spurs and Liverpool and Chelsea and some of the other teams that have been vying for it. By the way, Chelsea got battered today. Have fun at the Europa League there, Roman, eh? But they got battered today, and it's all well and good. I've totally lost my train of thought here, but basically I was talking about City dominating it, and us teams, the teams that are vying for those spaces, have been way off the pace. And it's not to an acceptable standard. Something's going to have to change between now and the start of next season for these clubs to even compete with City and Pep Guardiola, because stylistically wise, results wise, they've been absolutely battering everyone. And it's not freaking acceptable from a Manchester United point of view. I don't give a shit that we finished second, to be honest. No, I want to see us make a fist of it next year. Really go for it. Really entertain the fans. And with Jose Mourinho in charge, that's probably not going to happen by and large. Because of the defensive style that he seems to want his teams to play. He's a master tactician. He will win you things. Like last year, we didn't play the most interesting style of football. We weren't attack, attack, attack all the time. We weren't even that entertaining. It was sort of like a follow-over from the Louis van Gaal days of crabby, sidey pass football. And this year, it's been the same. But what Jose Mourinho has managed to do in that time is, last year he won us the Mickey Mouse treble, absolutely fantastic. So how can you argue with the style of football based on that? This year, we've been second best to one of the best Premier League teams there ever has been in Manchester City. You've got to give them the credit. We should be doing better, absolutely. We should be competing with them. Jose should be competing with them because of the money that we've spent. But you have to remember, City have spent maybe even more money than Manchester United have this season, maybe over the last couple of years. And which isn't an excuse. We still should be competing with them. But Pep Guardiola, I think, had a better squad already at Manchester City when he's gone in there. So I think Jose, yes, he had a good squad. Yes, he's added some really good players. But he's had to catch up a little bit in terms of adding quality to the side. I think given another transfer window, given a little bit of a war chest this summer to spend, I don't see any excuse why Jose Mourinho should not be challenging for the Premier League title next season. He absolutely should be. And perhaps you could say he should have done it this season because, like I say, we have spent a ridiculous amount of money. But if you spend shitloads of money on players like Paul Pogba, for instance, and they play 50% of the time like a £90 million turd in the centre of the park, then there's not really much you can do about it. Okay, you can say Jose's handling of Paul Pogba's maybe not been great. Maybe he's not selected him in the right position all the time. Yeah, okay, I get that. But at the end of the day, he's a professional fucking footballer. He's supposed to be one of the best in the world. Midfield. I mean, come on. He has been lacklustre this year. Sorry to just pile on Paul Pogba here, but I think it's a very important fact is that if Jose Mourinho, who is supposed to be one of the best managers in football currently, has a player who is supposed to be one of the best players in the world and an absolute match winner, and he's not performing, he's not doing the business, And this is perhaps happening on to a couple of other players on a smaller scale, like Romelu Lukaku, for instance. He had a spell in the middle of the season where he just looked absolutely gash-tastic and couldn't find the back of the net for love nor money. If that's happening, then it makes it very difficult for you to compete with a team who are playing faultlessly like Manchester City and have players who are playing faultlessly as well. Look at City's team, the depth, the quality they have, it's absolutely unbelievable. Maybe if you just slotted Kevin De Bruyne in Manchester United's team instead of that twat Paul Pogba, then maybe Manchester United would be winning the Premier League this season. Who knows? It's a bold statement, but I made it. Everybody who's tuning in right now to the live stream, thanks so much for getting involved. Do us a favour, chuck us a like on this video. If you're new around here, make sure you do subscribe. Yeah, I just want to get some things off my chest, and then I'm going to go through some of your guys' comments. I can already see Gungshi here commenting. How's it going, Gungshi? Hope you're feeling better, pal. He said City have spent 170 million more than Jose and Manchester United have. So, I mean, that tells a story. They should be winning the Premier League comfortably then, shouldn't they? But us Manchester United fans, we, of course, don't accept that. We want to be challenging for it. We feel that the team deserves to be challenging for it. We have gone through a period of real negativity, let's be honest now. Since Sir Alex Ferguson left, he left on a high note, won us the league. Next year, you know, David Moyes, bless him, he's had an absolute double daymare, hasn't he? He's got sacked before the end of the season there. We didn't have Champions League football for the next season. And Louis van Gaal's come in, you know, he's also done awfully, you have to say. At least he did qualify for the Champions League in his first season, and then the second season he left us whilst winning the FA Cup. So fair play, it wasn't a complete failure, but the style of football, in my opinion, was even more disgusting than it has been under Jose Mourinho this season. Because at least there have been spells, at least there have been good performances in games in amongst them, like the City game where we come back and beat them 3-2, where we have mesmerised, where the players have clicked, they have gelled, they have attacked, and they have played lovely, fluid Manchester United style football. So I think we've actually come forward from last season and the season before and the season before. People may disagree because of the style of football that we're playing, but if you're talking about just where the club is in terms of progression, we're second. We finished second in the league. That's much better than we finished last season. It's much better than we finished the season before. It's much better than we finished the season before. So I don't see how anybody could be giving Jose Mourinho too much stick for the season that we've had based on City being so good and so dominant. Sometimes you just got to, you know, take your hat off and say, fair play, Pep, fair play, City. You've just been better this season. They've been one of the best teams I've ever seen in the Premier League, ripping teams open, the style of football. They've dominated pretty much every team that's come up against them. So you cannot begrudge them the Premier League trophy. Manchester United have not deserved it this year. There's a big gulf in class right now, which we need to close. I think Jose will work on that in the summer. I don't want to see the youth, the young quality players that we have, like Martial and Rashford, leaving in the summer, but I think Jose needs to get rid of a couple of players. Michael Carrick, fair play to Michael Carrick, he's finished in the end of the season. Excuse me, he has been an absolute servant to the club. I just wanted to say a quick little thing about Michael Carrick. He's been one of the most consistent performers for Manchester United for the best part of, a decade. He has. He's like this generation's, you know, Paul Scholes or something. Obviously not quite, because he's not as good as Paul Scholes and he didn't stay at the club as long as Paul Scholes and he came from those flat Spurs. But you know what I mean? He has been a loyal servant to this club and always a consistent performer that you could rely on. So Michael Carrick, one love. Yeah, I mean, I just think Manchester United need to add a couple of more quality players in the summer. Get rid of a bit of shite that we've got at the club as well. You know, there's a lot of players that just aren't consistent enough. They might be really good on their day, but they're just not consistent enough, and that's what you need to have if you're going to compete with the likes of City, who are consistent. Let's be honest now, City are consistently awesome, and that's what's so annoying, because they don't seem to slip up much. You know, they had that slip up against us, and they lost, one other game all season long in the Premier League? It's not like they've been dropping points and then bouncing back and dropping points and back. No, they've just been consistently awesome. And you need players that are going to perform consistently for a club like Manchester United, absolutely. So, you know, I think Jose's got his work cut out for him to even compete with Pep Guardiola next year. But as a club as big as Manchester United, that's exactly what we should be doing. Right, I'm going to just go through a few of your guys' comments right now. So everybody who's tuning in right now commenting, get them in. Thank you very much for doing this, and I will read them. I'll read as many as I possibly can out. Mo Wada says, Pogba would be the best player at City. Oh, that is a bold statement, Mo Wada. So are you saying that it's solely based on the system that Jose is playing and the man management of Paul Pogba by Jose Mourinho. I'm not sure if you're so right there. I think he would do better at City right now because City are a better team and Pep Guardiola's tactics probably do suit Paul Pogba more. If you look at his days in Juventus when he was basically had that free role effectively and he was playing like an absolute wizard, I think maybe you're right. But, you know, at the end of the day, he is supposed to be able to play like that whichever team you stick him in. He's supposed to be one of the best players in the world. And it all comes down to a player's drive and competitive nature and mentality, whether or not they do that on a week-to-week basis. He should be doing that, you know, for Manchester United. Why can he not replicate that form that he had at Juventus? Don't just blame Jose Mourinho and say his negative system is shackling him. I mean, that is true to a degree, but it's also on Paul Pogba's shoulders. He's got to step up. He's got to man up. Something about the Pogba family, I'm telling you, they're a bunch of bottlers. Look at his brother the other day over in France. You know, they've got like a minute left in the game. They're 1-0 down or whatever it is. They're going to get relegated. He pisses off the pitch when all his team's already used all his substitutes. That's not good mentality, Pogba. I know that's not Paul Pogba, but I'm just saying, I worry about the Pogba family because sometimes I see Paul Pogba playing for Manchester United. He's supposed to be this talismanic wizard in the centre of the park that's making things happen for us, a true match winner. That's why we paid 90 million fucking quid, because he's supposed to be a match winner. And I see him dawdling on the ball. He's so freaking laboured, it's unbelievable. And so, you know, just like casual. He's so casual, Paul Pogba. Sorry, I just got a call coming in. Wait a second, I'll just reject that shit. He's so casual, Paul Pogba, often way too much for his own good because it leaves his teammates having to mop up for him. He loses the ball way too much. He does the simple things badly a lot of the times. Yes, sometimes he's absolutely fantastic. Yes, we know he's an absolute set-piece wizard. And he's got a brilliant eye for a ball and he can ping these lovely diagonal balls. And he can also shoot, can't he? He's got a great shot on him, although we haven't seen too many of it this season from him. But what I'm saying is I think there needs to be, you know, a rocket that is lit up his arse, quite frankly, because he's just not been with it this season. Look how he was at Juventus. You know, I don't get it. I don't understand why he can't necessarily compete the way he did for Manchester United just because Jose Mourinho is in charge. I think that's bullshit. I think, yes, the team would score more goals. Yes, the team would probably look more attacking and just look better if Jose Mourinho didn't play this negative brand of football all the time. But the fact is, that's his team, that's his system. He sets his team out to win games. He doesn't set his team out to get the all-time goal-scoring record in the Premier League like City have done, and that's absolutely amazing. But he doesn't care about that, Jose. He just cares about the 3 points, and okay, it's not happened for us often enough this season. But still, I think the players need to step up. And if Paul Pogba's not going to step up, then let's sell that prick. Because, okay, there's a lot of people on here probably going right now, oh, you know, support your players. You're dissing Paul Pogba all the time. Support them. Yeah, okay, but I've watched him play absolutely bang average for 2 years, and it's doing my head in. He's supposed to be this quality player. I want to see more from the lad. And if we're not going to get more from him, then do one ball. Shani Aharon comments and says, damn man, that moustache / toilet seat looks boss. Screw you, pal. But thank you very much for your comment. Carmichael says, that's the end for Martial, for fuck's sake, Jose. Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, some of the treatment that Jose has had on some of the players that we've got at Manchester United, like the likes of Anthony Martial, maybe Marcus Rashford. I think perhaps he is hindering these guys' careers in some way. But I think a lot of Manchester United fans thought that might happen when Jose came in because he's not really a manager who's known for bringing on youth, for getting the best out of his youth, for allowing youth players opportunities. He has done it. You know, he'll remind you. He will remind you how many times he's done it and all the debuts he's handed to young players, which is true. But, you know, he's not necessarily a manager who's going to put all of his faith in the youth. He's more of a manager. We could see that in the previous game that we played when we got Rashford and Martial on the bench and he's got Sanchez and Lukaku on there for no apparent reason whatsoever, even though we can't, you know, okay, we were challenging still for second at the time. But it's like, you know, just give these lads a run out, give them some game time, give them some experience. But I don't want to see Martial leave the club anyway, to go back to your point. I want to see him progress and fulfill his potential, which in my opinion is to be one of the best players in the world. We've seen on his day anyway, he's absolutely out of this world. But one thing, and it goes back to what I was saying about these players at Manchester United and getting new players in that have to be consistent. One thing that I'd say about Anthony Martial, he's just not consistent enough. Jose Mourinho could only do so much. You know, you put Anthony Martial out there on the pitch One game, he looks like Thierry Henry in his heyday. Next game, he looks like the Invisible Man. You can't do that. You know, that's not good enough. You can't keep selecting these players. So I understand it. But yeah, I don't want to see Martial go anywhere. Gungshi commenter says the Three Stooges, Ginger Goblin, the Dutch Toad, and Portuguese Mr. Bean. Absolute legend. He's obviously been watching this channel for a very long time. David Moyes, the Ginger Goblin. Right, let me ask you this question then, lads. Would you rather have the Ginger Goblin David Moyes in charge, the freaking Dutch Toad Louis van Gaal in charge, or Jose Mourinho, the Portuguese Mr. Bean Park the Bus expert in charge right now? It's a freaking no-brainer, isn't it? Because Jose Mourinho is actually one of the best managers in the world. He's not necessarily known for his amazing style of football, but that's just one thing you have to accept if you're going to have Jose Mourinho as manager. I think you have to accept that he's going to be challenging for everything. Maybe not this year in the Premier League, but given the expenses, given the time, I think he'll be challenging for everything. And then you've just got to accept that he is going to play whichever style of football he sees fit against whichever team he's up against to get the job done. He doesn't care if it's a stinker for 90 minutes and we nick a goal and win 1-0. He does not care. Whereas Jurgen Klopp, on the other hand, he's just going to go for it. And he might end up losing 5-4. That's not better, is it? That's not better. Philip Lomax, how's it going, Philip? He comments and says, we're on the right track. Let's see what next season brings. I couldn't agree more, Philip, you know. So many people just getting on the case of Jose Mourinho about the style of football, and it is annoying. But we finished second this year and won the FA Cup final. That is progression. It's better than last season. Okay, we won more stuff last year, but they're Mickey Mouse stuff, the Europa League, the League Cup. I'd rather win the FA Cup and finish second. We've got Champions League football for next year. That's what really counts, you know, competing in the Champions League and competing for the Premier League trophy. We finished second this year. It's not the end of the world. It's just the fact that City have been so good that they made us look bad this year. That's what it is. Points-wise, if you look at the points tally, it's not terrible, you know. Dr. Trolley comments and says, what a boring game. Oh, that's a surprise. I mean, I didn't actually watch the game today because I've been busy working, as I said. But it doesn't surprise me, Dr. Trolley, that it was a boring game because, you know, there was nothing to play for Manchester United. Second was a given. And we've got Jose Mourinho in charge. So, of course, it's not going to be the most entertaining of games. But that's what pisses me off. And that's what pissed me off about the last game against West Ham. Why the hell are we not just going for it? Every game should be like a Harlem Globetrotters exhibition between now and the end of the season and a couple of games ago. West Ham and this game against Watford should have been a fucking exhibition for us. We should be piling the numbers forward, piling the pressure on, trying to score as many goals as possible and trying to freaking entertain the fans. So that is what does annoy me about Jose Mourinho, is he's very stubborn. He's going to stick to his methods, whatever he thinks. Max comments and says, we need about 4 signings. I think you're probably right, and we need to let a few people go. You know, we've definitely got some issues at Manchester United. Certain areas, I've been saying it for years, the backline's just not good enough. The backline's not good enough. We need to bring in a top quality centre-back. Somebody who can maybe partner Bailey and really come on and improve that Manchester United defence. Look at the defence we had under Sir Alex. That's what we need to get to. We need that Rio and we need that Vidic in the centre of the back line. And then we need quality wing-backs. I think Valencia's out of this world unbelievable. But, you know, players like Luke Shaw, I'm not so convinced about. I think we definitely need to improve our back line because that's, of course, what these championship winning sides are based on, is a real solid defence. So yeah, I would like to see us bring in a top quality centre back in the summer, and I think we need to definitely need to bring some other quality players in. Ayanle Mohammed comments and says, Pig, should Martial be sold? No, I don't think so. I think Martial is a quality player. If he can reach his potential, there's no reason he can't be the next Thierry Henry. And I think Jose Mourinho is, you know, I think he is prepared to work with Anthony Martial and allow Anthony Martial to, you know, flourish at Manchester United without having to go somewhere else in order to do that. But he's got to get something back from Anthony in order to have that faith in him and in order to, you know, select him week in, week out. He has to have consistency, which unfortunately Anthony Martial does not have right now. Nikos Solas comments and says, Mata is so overrated. How about you do one, Nikos? That's so wrong, pal. Mata is one of the most underrated players in the team. What are you talking about? What are you actually talking about? Seriously, he is Mr. Consistent. If you want to talk about players being consistent, he's fucking Mr. Consistent. You know, some players, Some players go unnoticed, which I think Juan Mata is one of those players. Another would be Michael Carrick. He's the player that's going to come into your team every single freaking week and get you a 7 out of 10 performance. And there's nothing wrong with a 7 out of 10 performance, lads and lasses. It's better than a fucking 4 out of 10 performance or a 2 out of 10 performance, which Paul Pogba does sometimes. So, you know, it's... I personally think Juan Mata is one of the most underrated players we've got in our team. I think he's in an awkward situation because Jose got rid of him at Chelsea, and you know, he's come in and managed Manchester United, and Mata probably was thinking, oh, that's it, I'm out the door again now, aren't I? I'm freaking out the door again. Thanks very much, Jose, and the board for bringing him in. But no, Jose gave him a chance, and I think he's grabbed that chance. He's impressed me time and time again this season. Yes, he has the odd bad game. So does every human being alive. But to say Juan Mata is overrated, I just think you're talking cod there, Nikos. But thank you very much for your comment. Coochie VV says, Park is better than the current players right now. Park Ji-sung? Park Ji-sung's better than everybody in our team right now. You know why? Because he's the Terminator. That man just worked his socks off. I would take Park Ji-sung back right now out of retirement. So yeah, you're probably right there, man. I mean, he didn't play every game, did he, Park? No. But Alex Ferguson just unleashed him in the big games against the big teams, and he would absolutely boss it. So yeah, I totally agree with you. I think Park Ji-sung would get to the side now. Moada comments and says, remember the golden generation playing shit tactics? Don't even know what you're talking about there, pal. Who are you on about now? Like when we had Beckham and Giggs and Scholes and all that. I mean, Alex Ferguson definitely didn't play all out attack all the time. It was a balanced style of football. He would set his opposition up to play whoever the opposition is and the tactics that he thought we were going to come up against. So, you know, you need that. Philip Lomax comments says, we need more warriors, players that will run through walls. Too many soft players at the club. You've hit the nail on the head there, Philip. We don't have enough leaders. We don't have enough bottle. We don't have enough hard men. We need a Roy Keane. He will basically solve every problem we had. Do you think Roy Keane's going to let freaking Jesse Lingard get away with this, these piss poor freaking dancers, and Paul Pogba get away with his freaking haircuts all the time? I don't think so. No. He would get them focused on the case, and if you know, he's like an extra manager on the pitch, somebody like Roy Keane, because if you're not playing to the standard that he expects, he's going to fucking let you know about it. And I don't think we've got any players like that even come close to the bottle, the guile, the determination, the leadership that somebody like Roy Keane added to the side. We don't have anywhere near that. I mean, Paul Pogba, are you having a laugh? Oh dear. Plebs1 comments and says, all we need is a centre mid to free Pogba, a centre back and full back, and I think we'll be good. Well, didn't we get Matic for that very job? And Matic started Manchester United career brilliantly. You know, that's what we got Matic for. Just because he has the odd bad game here, don't let that take it away from the fact that Matic is a quality player and a quality midfielder that is the sort of player that does allow you more creative midfielders the opportunities to create shit. Ron Say comments and says, Pogba isn't the future of Man U in my opinion, neither is Jose. I think Pep will have him beat next season too. I mean, if you're looking at where City are this season and where Manchester United are this season, you have to say that City are odds-on favourites to do the same next year, because they don't really need to sign anyone. They could just keep it how they is. I'm sure they are going to sign some players because they've got unlimited money, basically. But yeah, I mean, I think everybody would agree, if you look at the factors right now, the style of play, the records they've broken, you have to say Pep Guardiola is one of the best managers in the world, if not the best. And you know, you may not have faith in Jose, I personally do, but I still think it's going to be incredibly hard for Jose Mourinho to compete with Pep Guardiola at any stage. That's including next year. I just want us to close the gap significantly. I do not expect City to get 100 points next year, though, and perform like they have so consistently this season. I do not expect that because it's so hard to do. And there were a lot of games this season, a couple spring to mind, where they've been very fortunate at the end just to nick a goal and win a game. And I know that's football and that happens, but I've watched a couple of their games and it's happened. I think there's a game against West Brom where they were losing right up until the end and they sort of undeservedly managed to win the game somehow. And little touches like that just made their record-breaking season seem even a little bit more better than it actually was, even though it's absolutely incredible. But I do not expect them to get anywhere near the amount of points they have this year, and I expect Manchester United to do a little bit better. Whether we can close that gap to a big enough level is another story altogether. Rodri Craig says, are we signing Neymar? I don't actually want to sign Neymar. Going to be honest with you. You know, what was I talking about a moment ago? We need Bottle. We don't need another freaking prima donna who cares about his hair too much. Yes, he's one of the best players in the world. He's technically unbelievable, you know. Of course, I'm just sort of joshing around. I would take Neymar out of the club. But he's not really the player we need right now. I'm telling you, we do not need that player. We need Bottle and we need Guile more at the back of the pitch than we do at the top right now. I think in terms of attacking creative talents, we've got some unbelievable ones. Right. I'm pretty much going to wrap it up there. Oh, Gungshi's just sent us a super chat. Thank you very much, Gungshi. Much appreciated. He says, Giggs in one day. Yeah, I mean, you know, we could have maybe taken a chance on Giggs previously before we got Jose Mourinho. And it would have been interesting to see how he's done. I don't think he would have managed to get us to treble last year, though. Maybe he would have surprised us. Who knows? What I do find a shame is that he's gone and taken the Wales job, which is a great job. It's a great chance to, you know, get some managerial experience, but it's not Premier League managerial experience or even domestic league managerial experience. It is international experience, which is different. You know, it is different. So personally, I would have liked to have seen Giggsy do like a Steven Gerrard, go and manage something like Rangers or even in a championship and get some real useful day-to-day managing of the squad experience. But yes, one day, my friend, I'd love to see Ryan Giggs be manager of Manchester United. He is Mr. Manchester United. It would be only right for him to be manager of Manchester United one day. Just like for Liverpool fans. They all want to see Stevie G manage Liverpool one day. Bubble and Sweet comments and says, did this guy just donate $300 to you? No, he didn't actually. Well, he did actually, yeah. He donated 300 Taiwanese dollars, which is still freaking awesome, man. It's still a considerable amount of dollar just for me talking cod shit on here, so thank you very much, Gungshi. But yeah, calm down, Bubble and Squeak. They're Taiwanese dollars. The Wookiee comments says $300 equals new camera. Yeah, if you're getting your camera from, like, you know, freaking Alibaba.com or whatever it's called. Ayanli Mohammed comments and says, Flying Pig, why don't we buy Modric? Yeah, he's another top quality player. We've coveted him for years. We wanted him before he went to Real Madrid. It's not going to happen, is it? That's not going to happen. Robert Ingram, how's it going, Robert? He comments and says, great season, Pig. We got the FA Cup. That's what I mean. You know, if we finish second and we do lift the FA Cup trophy, let's not forget the FA Cup trophy is the most prestigious domestic cup trophy in the world. I think that's a pretty decent season considering we, out of no choice of our own, are playing second fiddle to an unbelievable City side. I think that'd be a good season. So yeah, I'm with you, Robert, 100%. Alex Rudd, how's it going, Alex, my friend? He says, if United were the Globetrotters, they would just do trick shots all game. Yeah, okay, well, yeah, if you're taking what I said literally, Alex, then yeah, I didn't mean they're just, you know, going to Neymar it the whole game and do all these weird freaking tricks. I meant it should be, about entertaining the fans and, you know, giving the fans what they paid for, basically, which is to see the team they support, the team full of stars, play like stars and attack and try and win and dominate. And I wasn't saying that for all games. I was just saying that for these last couple of games of the Premier League where basically we had nothing to play for. There's no way we should be having one shot on target today against Watford. No fucking way. Should be having 100 shots on target against Watford. We should be shooting from the halfway line and shit like that. Why not? You know, we should just go for it. Everybody who's tuning in right now, if I'm not reading your comments, I do apologise, but thank you so much for getting them in. Gary Wells comments and says, we have stopped entertaining, and that's a big no-no. Jose is playing a very dangerous game and walking a tightrope. Yeah, goes back to what I was saying. I mean, he is going to lose a lot of the fans. He's going to lose a lot of the fans because the fans just want to see that Harlem Globetrotter style exhibition game every single week. The Liverpool fans don't seem too bothered about Klopp's style of play, do they? And he's getting results from it. Oh, but hang on a second. They finished lower than us in the league. So it doesn't work out all the time, does it? You've got to have a balance. But yeah, I want to see us do it a lot more anyway. I want to see us play more attacking football, more entertaining football. But I don't want that to take away from the results, though. You know, it's a fine balance you've got to have. We don't want to be Liverpool. I'm sorry, we don't. We don't want to be a team that are prepared to go for it and win it and leave themselves open at the back and lose games they shouldn't be losing, even though we also lose games we shouldn't be losing. But we've got more freaking points than them. That's what I'm saying. Yes, they're in the Champions League final, and most of us would step over our own mothers to be in that position. But this isn't our year, and there's every possibility that Liverpool get battered in the final and their season has been for naught. Do you know what I mean? They've qualified for the Champions League next year now because Chelsea is such a bunch of butlers, and they have done that. So, you know, they're progressing as well. Fair play to Klopp. You can't deny that he's one of the managers of the season, I think, just for getting them to the Champions League final and getting them Champions League qualification for next year as well, even if they lose the final. It's an unbelievable season that Liverpool have had. But I don't want us to turn into that team where we just go for it and leave ourselves exposed at the back. We need to Sir Alex Ferguson it. We need to have that balance and play good football, play attacking football, but also defend when necessary and set up shop to not concede when necessary as well. If you're coming up against, let's say, I don't know, Pep Guardiola's City, you don't absolutely go for it, do you? You need to have real solid guile at the back there. And, you know, maybe that's not a good example because that's what Liverpool did to them this year and got the better of them on every occasion. So it worked out for them on those instances. But it might not have done, that's the thing. Football's a funny old game. It's really hard to say, but I just look at the facts, which is Jose Mourinho has taken us forward, I think, anyway. Stay Clint comments and says, Pig, your views on why we want Fellaini. Hang on a sec. Hello? Hello? Knock at the door. Invisible man. Must be Anthony Martial. Anyway, right, I think I'm going to wrap it up there because somebody's at my fucking door. But thank you so much for tuning in to the video. Much appreciated. You're all a bunch of legends. My little end of season review here. Managers of the season. I just want to talk about that really quickly. No way Jose Mourinho is in with a shout of manager of the season. Even if he wins the FA Cup, we finish second by a long shot. And winning the FA Cup's not enough to warrant him getting manager of the season. If Liverpool won the Champions League, you could argue that Jurgen Klopp deserves to be manager of the season. I think Burnley's manager, Sean Dyche, deserves to be manager of the season. In my opinion, if you're talking about resources and how much juice he squeezed out of that apple based on, you know, the tools that he's got, I think he's manager of the season. But, of course, you cannot look beyond Pep Guardiola as manager of the season. What he's done at City, breaking the goal-scoring records, breaking 100 points. You've got to take your hat off to him. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. You're all a bunch of legends. Much appreciated. Thanks so much for tuning in to this live match reaction. Oh, let me just say thank you very much to Robert Ingram, who's just sent me a super chat as well with no comment. But I read one of your comments out earlier, Robert, and thank you so much for the support on the channel. And to everybody else who supports the channel, Gungshi has also sent me a super chat today, and everybody else who usually does as well. Thank you so much for this season, for watching these videos. I know I've not been maybe as active as I have been in previous seasons. It's just down to work schedule and things like that. I'm going to try and do as many videos as I can over the summer, keeping you up to date with what's going on transfer-wise at Manchester United, and of course covering as many World Cup games as humanly possible. So to everybody who's tuned in right now, thanks so much for doing so. Give us a like on this video. Subscribe if you're new around here. Take it easy. Until next time, have yourself a good one. Come back in a few minutes when this video has been published to YouTube and get your comments in so they stick around permanently. Sorry if I've not replied to yours during this live stream. But come back, comment, and everybody else will be able to see them and reply to them, and so will I. Until next time, have yourself a freaking good one. Gumshe comments says, it's the hen, come to raid your fridge for beer. Absolute pisshead. Hopefully we'll be doing a Pig in the Hen show very, very soon, so keep a lookout for that, pal. Right, that's me done. Shit season. Absolutely shit season. No, honestly, if we win the FA Cup, I'll take that all day long. Second in the FA Cup, based on where we were the last few seasons, I'll take that all freaking day long, son. Anyway, this is a Pig. You've been watching Flying Pig United. Take it easy. Keep it classy. I'll be keeping you up to date with what's going on in the transfer market over the summer, so don't go anywhere. I'll catch you very soon. This is the Pig.